Alright, we're talking about shifting graphs. It's also called translations or transformations of graphs. The parent graphs that we're going to do are y equals x squared, which is a parabola, which we've been doing all along. The parent graph is a u. The other graph we're going to do is absolute value graph. Which makes a v, Alright. Then we have two more graphs that we're going to shift are exponential graph. It looks like this. This is exponential growth. Things like population, bacteria. This is what you guys learned last year. And then lines. And we'll just translate these or shift these vertically. So line y equals x looks like this. Okay. Okay, these are the ways to shift a graph. This first way, right here, is called a vertical shift. The k moves it up and down with the same side. So if it's plus k, it moves it up. If it's minus k, it moves it down. It's called a vertical shift. This x minus h moves it horizontally, or a horizontal shift. With a horizontal shift, because the formula is negative, you always move it opposite of the sign. So it's minus h, you would move it to the right that many times. And then a also affects a graph. If a is positive, the concavity, or it opens up. If a is negative, the graph opens down. The other thing a does is if a is a fraction, then it opens wide. This means a fraction. Between 0 and 1, there would be fractions or decimals. When a is greater than 1, the graph is narrow. So whenever we're talking about shifting a graph, we're talking about how it changes from the parent graph. So if the black graph is the parent graph, the red graph is going to be my new graph. So here's how it changes. The horizontal shift is right 2. So go over 2. The vertical shift is up 5. So positive 2 up. So this is the new vertex. And then this graph opens up because a is positive. This is a. It opens wide because it's a fraction. The thing you could do is test some points. I always try 0. So I would plug 0 in. 0 subtract 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. So this would give me 4. 1/4 times 4 would give me 1. And then I would add 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At 0, we're up 6. So these graphs are symmetric, so over here at 4, I'd also be up 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, Okay, so then here's the graph, the new graph. We made it wide, and we shifted the vertex. This graph is an absolute value graph. So the parent graph would look like a V, like this. Here's how you move the graph. I'll do this in orange. Okay. The new vertex is horizontally, you go right 3, positive 3, because that would make it 0 over 3. Vertically, I go up 1. That's my new vertex. Because this is positive, because A is positive, it's open up. It's going to make a V. Let's figure out what it is at when x is 0. When x equals 0, let's figure out what the y value is. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 0, 7 is a point on the graph. Alright, so this is going to make a V. And you could figure out the symmetric point. And that would make symmetric V. Alright, here's my line of symmetry. So I went over 3, over 3. There you go. The orange graph is how you shifted the graph from the parent graph. Okay, the parent graph now is a line. If I move this same line, if I shift it vertically up 5, the new line has the same slope. Slope is 1, up 1 over 1. But the new line is shifted up 5. Vertical shift. Vertical y-axis, right? This is a final graph. This is the exponential graph. Let's pretend we take this graph and shift it. This would shift the graph. The new graph would be down 5. So from here I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 5. That's where it crosses the axes. And then it still goes up really fast. It takes the whole graph and shifts it a vertical shift down 5. Seems like everybody messes up something like this. This graph is a parabola, but from the parent graph, you just take the parabola and you move it down 3. It still opens up, and A is 1, but it just took the whole parent graph, if the black graph is the parent graph, and moves it down 3. This is my new shifted graph. And last, sometimes people mess this one up. Alright, so my parent graph would be the absolute value graph. My new graph, or my shifted graph, because it's inside of the brackets, it's going to move horizontally. So this one will move to 2. It's still open up because A is 1. A is 1 out here in front. But this graph just shifts to the right 2. Alright, that's it for today. This is shifting graphs. There's also a video on translating graphs, which is basically the same thing. We're just doing a whole unit on shifting graphs, so this is part of that. Hope you liked the video. Good luck, guys.